So, early morning ride. It says 8 o'clock on the bike, but it's actually 7. There's a daylight saving, just changed. And it's a beautiful morning. I'm gonna crack my visor just a little bit. Really got to alter adjust something. I'm sure this, fairly expensive helmet, by Australian standards, I guess it's not cheap. It's not expensive. I guess it's mid-range helmet. But this showy helmet, I would just expect it to not fog as much. I expect it to have better ventilation. But my Bell helmet, which costs a third of the price, has better ventilation, I feel. It's not as, you can tell it's not as good as helmet. But what are you paying for when you pay for helmets? What are you paying for? Is it the plastic? Is it the materials? The padding? The difference in price, it's quite significant. So you'd want to think it's all of those things. Research and development. Crash testing, all that kind of stuff. But you think one of those things would be anti-fog. Okay guys, full disclosure, it was actually my fault the entire time. The helmet came with a pin lock lens that I fitted months after I'd been riding around complaining about this helmet. So I put my hand up and I say, I apologise to Shoei Helmets. I've whinged about this helmet for like 6 months, and as soon as I put the pin lock on it, had no problems with fogging at all. I think it's an absolutely brilliant helmet. I have no complaints at all, and it's a lot colder than it's a lot colder now, and I'm riding around in it without fog. So yeah, that was me, guys. Apologies all round. We will make mistakes. It goes to show you need to read instructions, and you need to check everything out that you get with your helmet. Don't just slap it on your head and away you go. I didn't even know there was a light up here. Never stopped at it before. Can I filter on this guy? Yeah, I think so. No, I don't think I can. He's just squeezed his truck around these guys, which I don't think is legal. So you can hear all the radios going, all the morning radio. That's one thing I don't miss. Morning radio. It's the epitome of what's wrong with modern society, I reckon. Is just filling you've just woken up. You've just got out of bed. You're not even awake yet. You're not even awake till you've had your first cup of coffee or a cup of tea or gone in the bathroom, whatever. And most of these people aren't awake driving. I'll tell you how that works. Check out my other channel, Reality Matters. I'll tell you all about the unconscious mind and how we, once you learn to drive, we'll learn to ride. And you've done it enough times, it becomes what's called unconscious competence, and you don't have to think about it. It's just like breathing. You don't have to think about breathing. You can think about it, but you don't have to. It's just like riding a bike. We have a lot of controls on a bike. When you first learn them, it's like, oh, how am I ever going to ride? I've got the throttle, I've got the brake, the clutch, and I've got all the gears, and it's down, then it's up, and then it's, back brake, but you don't use the back brake all the time. You got to use the front brake first. So when you think about it, there's a lot to remember, but we do it because we practice certain things at certain times, and we build up our skill set, and it becomes second nature, right? And we're doing a lot of things. And you don't register your whole trip. If you drive every morning and you're regularly in traffic, you don't register your whole trip. You don't know exactly what happens. You only know when someone's cut you off or done something, to snap you out of that unconscious. Something's happened to snap you out of the unconscious. So back to my point, why is this so insidious with the morning radio? Because they're bombarding you with sound, like constant just sound, just rubbish, and advertising. And they know that's the time you're the most susceptible to advertising. And people say there's no such thing as subliminal advertising. Well, all advertising is subliminal. It's all working on your unconscious systems. It's not. So you hear like a couple of, and who they have on the morning radio, it's just bizarre. It's just like whoever comes up with these shows. I mean, don't get me wrong. Back in the day, there used to be this guy called Doug Mulray on radio. Really funny, like classically funny dude. Real sense of humour. But you don't get that anymore. You just kind of get people who have got an opinion about something, who are very opinionated, and people want to hear their opinion. So they hear, somebody else's opinion about current events or some gossip, And that's why I say it's the epitome of what's wrong with the world. It's like all gossip and opinions presented as the way it should be, and yeah, I mean, then what do you have? Then you have like a little bit of music, which isn't, they're trying to sell records, so they'll just bombard you with I don't know, just the latest and greatest. Unless you listen to the oldies stations like me and listen to the classic rock you've listened to, or the classic, actually I tell a lie, I don't listen to classic rock in the car. I don't listen to radio. My partner puts on Spotify if we're going for a drive. Or if we're going down the beach, yeah, we listen to radio, but just very briefly. I think it just opens the door to commercialism in general, and I'm not saying, you know, I've come up with a better system, but it's just like, you know, do we really just want to be bombarded by one constant commercial? That's why I think people are turning to YouTube. I think that even though there's commercials in YouTube and they, you know, they've got an algorithm that checks you out and advertises exactly what you're interested in. Well, hey, maybe that's better. Maybe that's better. I mean, who knows? At least they know what you're interested in. If you're a single male, at least you're not getting, you know, sanitary napkin ads and that kind of stuff. Ooh, I don't know. That was very specific, Al. Where are you going with that? I don't know. It's. What do you want out of life? Like this whole commercialism, dude. It has to balance out somewhere. You know what I mean? I guess that's where I'm going. It has to balance out. Look, where are you going with? Like all, it's just more all the time. And that's what you hear on morning radio. Let's get more of this, get your insurance, get this and that. That's what you wake up to. A little bit of the old dread, a little bit of news, dread, and then someone's opinion over it. So you're not actually getting the facts, you're getting emotions, right? And I mean, the facts are meant to stir your emotions, but yeah, morning radio is the worst. I think morning and afternoon, evening, like drive time radio they call it, I think. It's just the pits. For me, it's my own personal opinion. I'm entitled to it. You might love it. You might love the drone. Some people love that background noise, just that drone. They don't even register it, and every now and then they have a chuckle at a joke or something. A bit of gossip. They love the gossip. I mean, people love morning radio. You get people calling all the time. But here's the twist, because I found out for a reliable source that like a lot of these call-ins are the same people just pretending to be someone else. Now they don't work for the radio station, but they're just lively people and characters. So they win prizes because, you know, they're going to get reaction and a soundbite. Just like, oh my God, I can't believe we've struggled, and this is really going to help us. We deserve this holiday. So it's the same people, guys. They recycle the same people because apparently it's hard to find a lot of people with a personality. So they want you to win. They don't want you. They don't want people to. They don't want people to. They don't want people to call in and go, oh, you've won the new car, or you've won this jewelry, you've won this holiday, and people to go, oh, thanks very much, really appreciate that. They don't want that. This doesn't sound great. Then people realise exactly what it is. It's just, oh yeah, that's nice. But they want people to hype it up. So to hype up people, they just keep getting on. And they go, hey, would you like to win this? And this is what I was told from a very reliable source. That's what they do. They go, we know Susie, for example, it's a made up fictional name. Susie, we know that you're going to hype it up and you always do it. Call up and call yourself Betty or something like that. I'm really pulling the old names out, but that's what they say. Call yourself Betty and you win this necklace, right? So they get all these people waiting all day, calling all day, and Betty's going to win. Like the hypothetical Betty, the fake hypothetical Betty, who's really fake hypothetical Susie. So, yeah, I mean that's what happens. That's what I was told, right? Now I'm not an investigational journalist, so I haven't checked any of these facts. I'm just sharing what I heard from a pretty reliable source, right? Someone that had no reason to make up a story to impress me or impress others. That's my little rant, I reckon. That made the ride. I ranted for half of the ride about morning radio from Randwick to Surrey Hills. I got my morning rants out of the way, and it's good. I recommend everyone get a YouTube channel and have rant videos because it makes you feel better about your life. just get it out there. This is a bit of a disaster. All right, let's go. The Africa Twin, the big boy. It's a beautiful looking bike. Looks like he's doing a motovlog himself. I'll tell you, I do not miss the daily commute. I very rarely work in town. I am doing it at the moment. But it's not a regular occurrence. I don't miss the traffic. Even though I kind of bought this bike so it could deal with a little bit of traffic, you know what I mean? As opposed to the cruiser. No, you got around. He obviously travels it more than I do. You can just tell the mentality of the people that drive in traffic on a regular basis. It's just there's more of a sense of urgency. Like everything matters a little bit more to them. You know, not having to stop at that extra set of lights and an extra 40 seconds you're at the lights. I get it, man. I mean, I used to travel an hour and a half each way. An hour and a half each way in the car. And it takes its toll on you. And I know better than most how... Oh, here we go. I know better than most how we anchor states to situations, and just getting in the car for some people turns them into a completely different person. Yeah, it's just like getting on this bike. I'm a slightly different person to slightly different behaviours to when I'm on the cruiser, or different behaviours when I'm on the dirt bike. You know, I'm the same person, but because it's a different tool doing a different job, you act differently. Yeah, if you can understand that kind of analogy. And I guess I'd be a different person again on a sports bike, because it influences you. You can't not. People go, well, you know, it's the person, it's not the machine. Well, that is true to some respect, right? That is true to some respect. If you're a certain type of person, and there's all different type of personality traits, but you know, if you're a certain type of person, you wouldn't get a sports bike. If you're a certain type of person, you wouldn't get a cruiser. You know, it just wouldn't do it for you. So the machine does influence a part of you that you've associated something with that machine. So a cruiser, for me, I've associated something with it, and it kind of brings out that in me, whether emotion, behaviours, you name it. The same thing for this, well, not so much this bike, because this bike, it just does. It's kind of my all-rounder, but definitely on my dirt, on the WR450, it's the way that's designed. It kind of feeds a certain part of me again, which is that hoon kind of part of me that I don't feed very often, but that's what it does. Yeah, it's a hoon bike. It's set up as a hoon bike, or it will be. back to my point. Our biology affects our psychology. So when you're sitting on a sports bike, it looks like you're going fast, or you feel like you're going fast while you're standing still, what's it going to make you want to do or behave? Or how's it going to make you behave? I've got to say, the traffic gods are with us today. What's the time? Does everyone want to fly home? I'm loving it. I'm not complaining. This is awesome. Thanks, mate. Legend turned his mirrors in for me. That's awesome. There's someone who's on the ball. I spoke too soon and jinxed myself. People drive so erratically, man. I guess they probably say the same thing about me, but some people just make me nervous. They just drive erratically. Not that I have the most finesse in the world. I'm not known for my finesse. I've worked on it. Definitely worked on it. That guy has a dangerously low flat back tyre there. Oh, I know. You know what it is? He needs to put extra air in there or something. He's got his toolbox on there. Yeah, I like to think I'm smooth, but it's one of the things I'm pretty critical of myself. I could be smooth, especially on this bike. I definitely feel that I was smoother when I first started riding. So I've got to get back to the smoothness. Get back to that silky smooth throttle hand. I don't mean when I first started riding, but when I used to like be in that conscious competence kind of really thinking about everything I was doing and running procedures through my head, and you know, what is happening here? So this is what I don't like. Sun in the driver's eyes. And I'm just going to go around because I don't like it. I think it's dangerous. This is where people do stupid things. As they panic. It's that whole thing, going back to people who drive in traffic on regular basis. They get to something like this and they panic. They go, I need to be in the perfect lane. There'll be one lane that goes faster than all the others. And so they play that lottery of which lane. And sometimes you get it right. Sometimes you get it right. Sometimes you feel like you got somewhere faster. I don't know if it's true. I really did jinx myself with this traffic though. You going to filter, mate, or not? Guess he isn't. Perfect. I mean, I'm not judging people who drive in traffic, let me get that perfectly clear. I wasn't the worst one, because after doing it for years, you kind of know. Yeah, we all get there at the same time. You know, 5 minutes difference, well, I get my coffee 5 minutes before you, or whatever it is, or you avoid an accident. Look, at the end of the day, there's going to be days when you cop it, and there's days when you're not. People get so... It just goes to show how caught up and conditioned people are in the system. Right? And there we go, Al's harping on about the system again. But yeah, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to work yourself up, get over emotional, give yourself an ulcer every day, you know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense to do that. It is a nice day for a ride though. Some little shits press my button. Someone's played with my bike because they've turned the time to the temperature. So it's actually 5:30. Let's go and see what the beach is looking like, eh? It's been a good run. I mean, this is short traffic compared to what I used to drive in. Like, it was an hour and a half each way. If you're coming late at night, the best you could do it in, very best you could do it in was like 35-40 minutes, right? But with traffic, an hour and a half. So it goes to show how much of that time you stopped, because it's a 40-minute, pretty much straight through drive, 35-40 minutes. And an hour and a half with traffic. So you're stopped on the road for an hour. Yeah? It'll drive you nuts. With your car running, I didn't have one of those cars that shut off and save fuel. It's, you know, I had big, probably wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. I had big cars, 6 cylinders, 8 cylinders, or big diesels. But yeah, look, you kind of, people find their groove. It's kind of like what I was talking about this morning. They listen to, like, they get addicted to the morning radio, so they'll get addicted to their morning family, which is whatever crap's on the radio in the morning. Same thing on the way back. You're very susceptible in the morning. So if the radio station can grab you to listen to them in the morning, you're more likely to listen to them no matter how crap they are in the afternoon. You're more likely to listen to them. But I deal with my day job, I deal with the unconscious mind. So if you check out the other channel, Reality Matters, check out my channel, you'll see that we're all driving around unconsciously, and it sounds stupid, but then you can see why accidents happen, or why things happen the way they do. So that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for tagging along. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this or support the channel, subscribe. Check out the other videos. I've got a lot of reviews and tips coming up, and I've got a lot of motovlogs coming up. And drop a comment. I don't even remember what I was talking about, but there's a lot of controversial stuff there. So drop a comment if you agree or disagree with me. We live in a free world. We can all have our own opinions, and I'd like to hear yours. But till next time, ride what you want to ride, and stay safe.